Big Country 97.9, number one for today's Best Country. It's a drive home with Shawn Patrick. A special guest on with us today, Mr. Sammy Kershaw, country music legend. Sammy, thanks for being here with us. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, man. I don't know about legend, but I'm just a country singer.
I'm telling everybody you're a legend because some people like collecting autographs and things like that. I got to collect a voicemail from you yesterday. That's something that not everybody has. I have a voicemail I'm going to save forever. It says, "Hey, Sammy Kershaw, just calling you, Shawn." And we had a little miscommunication yesterday, and you ended up calling my cell phone.
Actually, I woke up yesterday morning, and if you can tell, you can probably tell that I woke up yesterday morning with a little touch of bronchitis. And what happened was Saturday night, I did a show over in North Carolina somewhere, and one of my guys was sick, and he rang out my microphone during sound check that day.
Oh, no.
And he didn't wipe my microphone with alcohol like they're supposed to do right after anybody talks in it.
Right.
And I'll be doggone if I wake up yesterday morning and I don't have the same thing he had, a little touch of bronchitis. And, man, I had a rough go last night, the show last night in Pennsylvania. It was tough.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like any fun, man.
Better today. A little Robitussin DM.
Yeah, that helps.
Go a long way, man.
Good. I'm happy to hear you're feeling better. Now everybody's going to think that voicemail is fake because it doesn't sound like you.
Yeah, well, it's not fake, man.
Okay.
It's for real. It's a real deal.
Now we got proof on the record. So what's going on these days? I know you got a lot of things going on. Besides music, you're writing a book, or you've got a book that's coming out soon anyways that may be done. You've got the politics that you're involved with. You're a producer. Where do you find time to do other things? What's your day look like?
Hey, man, look, I have to stay busy. Matter of fact, I just left a tool rental company and rented a big skid loader to be delivered tomorrow. When I get back on Saturday from the road, I leave it. We just got in at about 12:30 today here in Nashville, and we leave again at 8 p.m. tonight. But I'm back here on Saturday sometime, so I have a machine that'll be delivered on Saturday. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, before we head out to see you folks, I'll be digging another pond.
Oh, man, there really is no downtime in your life, huh?
No, I don't allow it, man. I just don't like it. You know what? I took 3 or 4 days last week, and I went to Florida, to Panama City, for 4 days, 4 nights actually. Just took a little time, which I haven't taken time off for vacation in years and years and years. And now I remember why. Because I got over there and I just got bored, and I just felt like I was wasting time in my life.
Yeah, I could be digging a pond or writing a book, right?
I could be doing.
That's right. No, I completely understand. Now, speaking of staying busy, you put out a new album back in June. Tell me a little bit about the new album. It's called I Won't Back Down.
Yep, and that's kind of me. I won't back down from anything unless somebody can show me that there's just a little bitty spot there that I might be wrong. Well, then we'll talk about it and we'll discuss it. But if I know that there's no spot there for me to be wrong, I won't back down. And that's not just for myself, but that's for my family. And when I say family, that also includes the band and crew and all the guys that work with me and the people that work with me. And look, man, I'm a loyal guy, and if I'm your friend, I'll go to bat for you. If you're right, I'll throw them up against the wall if you're right. But if you're wrong, just remember, I'm going to throw you up against the wall.
That's right. That's a good motto to live by. And if that sounds familiar, it's because the title track of that album is a cover song from Tom Petty. Are you a Tom Petty fan, or how did it come about that that's the song that you chose as not only one of the covers on the album, but as the title track?
Actually, when I signed the record deal with Cleopatra Records, that was the stipulation in the contract, was that I would do 2 cover songs and 10 brand new ones. So I got to the studio the last day of tracking, and I walked into the studio that morning, and I still hadn't decided on the second song that I was going to cover. So Lonnie Wilson, the drummer who played on the session, him and he was the only one there, and I got there kind of early, and the radio was playing, and we were talking about how the day had went and how it was going to go that day. And I said, the only problem is I haven't decided yet what other song I'm going to do. And then the song came on the radio. He said, I've always loved that song. I said, man, me too. And I said, that fits me perfect. I said, that's the song we're going to cover right there. I won't back down. And I said, matter of fact, it's going to be the title of the album.
Just like that, huh?
And that's how it happened.
Oh, that's
Same
crazy.
way with Third Rate Romance years and years ago. When I cut that, we were all finished. We were finished with the session. And one of my producers, while the musicians started to pack their guitars and everything up, one of my producers said, did you ever sing that song, Third Rate Romance? I said, man, I used to sing that thing when I was 12 years old in those bar rooms. And he said, you ought to think about cutting that one day. And I said, well, we'll just cut it right now. And we went in the studio, and 3 minutes later, we had a hit record.
That's crazy. That is an awesome story. I didn't know that. Did you know Chris Christopherson just did the cover of I Won't Back Down not that long ago, too? I just heard it the other day, and it made me think of that when I saw that you covered it as well.
I'll be dog.
Yeah,
that's cool.
You have to check it out. It's kind of a cool version as well. Both the versions are really neat.
Is.
Yep. Now, I know that you're from Louisiana. You're from Kaplan, which is like just under 200 miles from New Orleans. Everybody's kind of celebrating and remembering Hurricane Katrina. You doing anything special this week? A
lot of people are talking about Katrina, but what a lot of people are not realizing, Katrina was up on the southeast part of the state. But what a lot of people don't realize is 2 weeks later on the southwestern part where I'm from, we had a bigger hurricane than that called Rita. And there was more destruction from Rita than what Katrina did. It was really bad. But people didn't hear about that one because, we folks down there in southwest Louisiana, as soon as the water start going down, they're out there working. They use their cameras and video, and they take the pictures and video footage of what they need for the insurance company, and they get back to work. They start putting their lives back together as soon as they can walk around outside.
Right.
So a lot of people never heard of Rita or ITA, and some people ought to Google Hurricane Rita sometimes 2 weeks after Katrina and see what kind of devastation that we went through over there with a 25-foot wall of water that came through and dug up a bunch of graves and things like that, and took houses and sent them hundreds and hundreds of yards down into the fields, and some of them had even just dropped them right on the roads. The roads you couldn't even get to, it was about 20 foot of water, and I mean it was bad. It was really, really bad, man. So some people ought to think about Rita sometimes.
Yeah,
we'll have folks in the southwestern part.
Right, we'll have to check that out. It's so hard for me to imagine as a guy who lives in Colorado, born and raised in Colorado. We don't see water here, so it just doesn't even calculate in my head to see something like that happen.
Right. I have being from South Louisiana like that on the Gulf of Mexico. I've always had a lot of trouble with acclimating.
Right.
And I hadn't checked the elevation yet where we're going there. But I remember I was up on Pikes Peak one time for a couple of weeks to remodel a camp. While I was working for Walmart as a remodel supervisor, we had a couple of weeks of downtime, and there was a guy that needed a little remodeling done on a camp up there on Pikes Peak. And I tell you, I didn't get much work done. I'd get about 10 steps, and I'd have to sit for 10 minutes. And it took me 2 weeks to acclimate to that 10,000 feet.
I believe it.
I don't know. I don't know what the elevation is where I'm headed, but I kind of got a feeling it's going to be kind of high.
Yeah, we're up there. It's half of Pikes Peak, though, so you won't have to take 2 weeks. You just got to come hang out with us for a week, and you'll be acclimated.
Man, I tell you, it's hard on a guy like me. Ever since I was a kid, elevations have always messed me up. Even airplanes sometimes will mess me up, even though they're pressurized. Jets and all that stuff.
Right.
But sometimes I'll lose my breath up there, man, and I can't catch it.
Yeah, that's not fun. So can we expect you to just kind of stand still? You're not going to put on a show for us or anything like that?
Well, the show to me is the music. And I get to tell a few stories behind the songs and things like that. But I'm going to try to move some if y'all don't take all the oxygen.
Well, we'll hide an oxygen mask behind the stage for you, just in case you need it.
There you go, man. I carry it on the bus.
Oh,
just
do you?
For that.
Oh, perfect.
When
well,
I
you'll
go
be good to
into
go.
places like that, I carry oxygen tanks on the bus. They stay there all the time.
You'll be good to go then. The band that's playing before you, I don't know if you know who's opening for you at this show, but it's Low Cash, one of my favorite bands to see live. They're like
the Low Cash Cowboys.
Yeah, they're like the opposite.
Well.
Yeah, you've probably seen them
well.
then. Speak about needing oxygen, man. Those guys don't quit moving around.
I know it, and we're going to have a talk about that. I don't want them to make me look like I'm dead up there or something.
Right. Just take some tips from those guys. Maybe you can work out with them beforehand. You'll get into shape.
Yeah, right.
They
can work out all they want to. They're young guys. An old guy like me, I can't work out like them boys do.
I understand how that goes. Hey, now, I always like to ask artists, because I'm a huge music fan, and obviously you're a music fan too, being in the industry. What you're listening to right now? I like to get tips from some guys like you on what I should be listening to right now. What's in your CD player? What's on your iPod right now?
Actually, man, I still go back to Jones and Haggard and stuff like that. And believe it or not, I like hippie radio. They play 60s and 70s.
Right.
And classic rock, Leonard Skinner, Marshall Tucker, Doobie Brothers, Allman Brothers. That's the kind of stuff I listen to.
Nice.
I don't hear a whole lot of country music anymore. But you talking to a guy who started doing country music when he was 12 years old. I've been doing this for 45 years, and I'm one of the lucky guys in country music, because by the time I was 14 years old, I got to play music with people like Jones and Haggard and Loretta and Tammy and Ray Price and all those folks. So I know what traditional country music is.
Makes sense.
I keep saying you can't knock success, and those guys and girls are having a lot of success with what they're doing right now. But it's just not for me. I'm a country singer, and I'm going to die a country singer.
Makes sense to me, man. And definitely talking about success, you had plenty of it in the 90s, and we look forward to hopefully having a little bit of success from this album. I don't know exactly what the goal comes out of with a new album coming out from a guy like you, but we certainly enjoy at least the title track and hopefully have some success with the rest of the album as well.
Me too, man. Thank you very much. That's all I can hope for. Summer radio, they won't play guys like me right now, but that's okay. I think it's going to come back around sooner or later. I've seen the changes in 45 years, and I just keep recording albums and putting them out every year. And I think especially the artists from the late 80s and 90s should be in the studio every year or year and a half recording a brand new album and putting it out. Even though we're not getting played at radio, social media helps a whole lot.
Right.
And they need to stay relevant in this business, because country music is going to come back around, and whoever is prepared is who's going to get. It's kind of like the early bird gets the worm.
Completely understand.
So you need to be prepared, man. It's going to turn around.
Makes sense to me. And speaking of social media, you brought that up. I follow you on Facebook, and you run your own Facebook page. If you don't follow Sammy Kershaw, you got to go follow him on Facebook, because you have a lot of fun with it too, and you can tell that it's you and not somebody else controlling your Facebook page. Yes,
it's me. And every once in a while, somebody will get a little ugly, but I don't let them get away with that. I'm not that type of guy. If you want to come to my page and visit with some of the fans and myself, we have a good time. If you want to come there just to creep the page and make some smart aleck remark, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to tell you what I have to say. Then I'll leave your post up for about 15 more minutes, and then I'm going to delete you. I'm going to give you a chance for everybody to see how dumb you are.
Right.
And then I'll delete you.
Good for you, man. I like that attitude. Can't wait to see you September 4th, Thunder Mountain Amphitheater. That's our backyard, as a matter of fact, so you have to come out, hang out with us a little bit, and get acclimated to the altitude and hang out with us. We'll look forward to it, man.
Awesome, man. Can't wait to see y'all.
All right, Sammy Kershaw. I call him a country music legend. I don't care what he says. He's coming to see us on September 4th. Thanks for taking some time for us, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate your time.